And that brings us to track 8, The Mother Hips, Pull Us All Together. Sean, you brought us this one, and I don't even need to ask you why, but I am going to pass it to you anyway.
Yeah, it's the first time Mother Hips have been on the playlist podcast. No, I guess this, as much as I want to share new music and talk about new artists, there are times where a theme demands a certain song, and probably 3 seconds after you shared the theme idea, this song played in my head, and I knew it had to be here. I mean, one good thing that bad things do is pull us all together. And I think that's the essence really of what we're talking about here. There's a community feel and a resiliency that comes from helping each other and being connected in this way. The Mother Hips, of course, are a wonderful band, and they've written many important songs along the way, but this concept, I think, is very emblematic for what we're talking about here. What I find that is interesting, though, is that we feel a lot more connected when we have a common cause. And so sometimes when bad things don't happen, we drift away from each other. And I think we find the differences, and the differences are what is accentuated, and we start to believe that we're more different than we're alike. But in the end, one good thing that bad things do is bring us all together. And so I think we sometimes find that we're missing this in our work, that we've got that common cause. We're missing this on our teams. We're missing this in our communities, and sometimes we're missing this in our families. And so there is a silver lining. Each thing that happens is a gift. There's this incredible Rumi poem about unwelcome visitors and how you treat each one with respect. And you welcome the guest. I'll send the image for the Instagram post of this thing that we could include it. But that's what this song's about. That's why this song is here. And the power of pulling together is one not to be underestimated. And I think that's what Tim and Greg and the band are saying. And this is the kind of song that I hope reaches everybody. You know, one of the things as a national team coach that we talk about as coaches is how do we manufacture enough hardship, enough difficult circumstances so that the team pulls themselves together. Because when it's easy, you don't always do that. It's something that we talk about as a set of parents. You know, we're raising kids in a way where we have enough money to get them the things that they want and the things that they need. Is that helping them with their resilience? Or is it just kind of silver spooning them and they're expecting things to be easy? Because one good thing that bad things do, it's pull us all together. So I think the theme is brilliant, and this song was the obvious pick from the best band in the world.
Nice. Killer. Well, I'll respond to that just saying I agree. Great pick. I'm glad that you put it in here because I only had 3 songs to pick, and it was on my list. But it was pretty deep in there because we had so much Mother Hips, and I wanted to bring new music. So thanks for going back to the oldie, which is one that's like, yeah, it's spot on. I think with the theme, it lands perfectly. One thing that always catches me about the lyrics on this one is "Love me and my faults," and I think that particular line. Is a little bit of what you're talking about. Like we do need to challenge ourselves to find the catastrophes, find those opportunities to pull together. It can be like, especially in 2025, where people like our biggest challenge right now is loneliness. People staying isolated and being or maybe one of the biggest challenges. We probably have a lot more challenges than just loneliness, but I think that it's a big contributor to all of the world's problems right now. And I think that may be that we're not giving ourselves opportunities to collide with each other. It's messy being in relationships. It's messy being out there in our community. It's messy knowing your neighbors and caring, because they got problems. They need stuff. It's gonna require that you pay attention. It's gonna require sometimes that you pause and slow down. But don't underestimate that power of slowing down and pulling together. And I think that is worth it. It's worth it to have a little bit of friction in our life. Sean, I remember when we were kids and I was doing some science class, probably in 4th or 5th grade, and I first learned about friction. And I came home from school that day and I was like, man, friction sucks. And you were like, no, it doesn't. You couldn't walk if you didn't have friction. And I was like, oh, right. That's actually important. Friction is really important to like anything that we do. We need these moments of fault, and we need to be loved when we are at fault. And there's a lot more to say there, but I think that covers it for what I have to say about the mother hips and pulling together. So Grant, save me.
I want to hear more someday about your lesson in friction from Sean, and it's funny. It's funny that you remember those things too, that they come up. Y'all hit everything, and it's fun to pull the CD back out. And I like that Mother Hips, just to acknowledge, liner notes right there, so like the lyric is easy to kind of reference. You know, to me, the ordering is what I want to mention that you guys didn't quite hit, because you kind of hit all my notes already. But we're ending the 9 songs, and I won't give away the farm, but you'll hear it pretty quickly, of kind of an upbeat ending, being together, ending strong. Sean, I love your commentary about, you know, how do you build resilience? I think this playlist kind of gets us there and then kind of kicks us out the door with, you can do this, like, go be in your community. I will be totally honest that in November, it was a dark time in this house on how does our world around us stay tight in what's going to feel like a dark time. And unfortunately, over the last few months, it's felt a very dark time. So how are we turning both inward and outward to join in community is something that we've put into practice, put into connecting with our neighbors, people that we moved here in 2019 and the pandemic hit and we didn't quite have those bonds. We have those bonds now. How are we leveraging those bonds, not for the good of us, but for the building of that community that's there? And so we're kind of committing to, let's talk about our home, our block, our neighborhood. That's where we're going to build this. And so to me, the Mother Hips is the start to the last 2 songs to be like, you can do this. You absolutely can pull together and imagine the good things that you can. So I love it. Always good to have a Mother Hips song. Always great to listen to it from a lyric perspective, which in my world, I've listened to a ton of Mother Hips with you all, but didn't pay attention to the lyrics as much as this one to see that uplifting side of it. So solid pick. I don't disagree. One of the best bands ever.
Well, I was the third to submit my songs, and I was fully prepared, because this has never happened before that 2 people submitted the same song. I was fully prepared to basically double submit this song if one of you put it on here also. So that didn't happen, but I was set on this song. It was a lock. So.
And force the audience to hear it twice. Okay, what you just heard and what you're going to hear again, make it sink in.
Awesome. All right, well, let's give the listeners an opportunity. Here's Pull Us All Together by the greatest band in the world, the Mother Hips, off Green Hills of Earth, which was a 2001 release.